Hey, I have got low connectivity, so we are going to try this again. Now it says that I'm recording, so I'm going to go with it. Hey, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, day 30 of the Painkillers Challenge. And today I want to talk to you about something called EFT. I said, well, what the F in the title today? Because EFT is one of those strategies and one of those techniques that is kind of out there for people. It's out there for me, and I have used it not consistently. I use it when I'm really struggling with something, if I'm having a particular pain that I can't seem to break through. I like to use what's called the emotional freedom technique. And I'm going to run through a quick demonstration, but like anything else, I'm going to encourage you to hop on the computer, go to YouTube, and watch a couple of people's techniques and strategies, because what that does for you is it reinforces that you can take this strategy and make it your own, like I do with everything, because I don't tap exactly like anyone else does. And you'll see that there's a big variety. Although the process is similar, there's variations, and the variations are just making the process your own and doing what feels right and is most effective for you. So I drew this cool little picture because I wanted to show off my artistic ability about the tapping points, and just to remind myself. Tapping seems a little strange at first, and if you're really experienced with it, you can just, do it as today's challenge, ignore all this stuff I'm sharing. But a lot of people, especially pain patients, have never been introduced to EFT. I wasn't introduced to EFT until after my sudden cardiac arrest, and I was at a conference and somebody said, hey, you've been through a cardiac arrest. I got to believe there's some stuff in your body that you need to let go of. So you need to do EFT. And I'm like, well, what the heck's EFT? So he showed me briefly what EFT was. And then I did a little more research on my own, and I tried it, and it did help me to release a lot of the emotional charge and a lot of the tension and stress that I had built up over this particular health event. So I want to share that technique with you. I'm going to show you how I do it. But again, I'm encouraging you to go to YouTube, look it up, watch a couple of videos on how people actually use the technique and what they use it for, how they say things and how they phrase things, if that's important to you. The most important thing is to use your intuition and use your gut instinct and do what feels right for you. Say what feels right for you. Tap with as many fingers or how much pressure feels right for you. And not get hung up on what somebody else says the process is. Because the key to success in anything in life and in reducing your chronic pain and handling your chronic pain is always taking the processes and procedures and making them your own. So the first thing we do with EFT, all EFT is, emotional freedom technique, is tapping on certain meridian points in our body and mostly around our head and face, and to release the tension. They tap in to, and it ties together ancient Chinese medicine with, modern day psychology. And you can listen to and read all the mumbo jumbo that scientifically backs this up, but I'll just say it works. So for example, let's say I'm having really bad hip pain today or a migraine, and I don't particularly like to tap on my head when I have a migraine, but it really does work sometimes. But let's say today I have really bad hip pain, because I might have really bad hip pain today, and I want to tap on that. So the first thing I do is I find my karate chop points, and it doesn't matter which hand you use, or or where you right or left on a lot of these things. Do what feels right and is comfortable for you. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a statement of the issue I'm having. If it's stress or pain or whatever it is that I want to work on, I'm going to take 1 to 4 fingers and I'm going to tap on the karate chop point of my hand. And I'm going to tap 7 or 8 times, and I'm going to say, even though I'm having this hip pain, I unconditionally love and accept myself. Even though I'm having hip pain today, I unconditionally love and accept myself. Even though I'm having hip pain today, I love and accept myself. I'm going to do that 3 times. I'm going to make some variation of that, of a statement that says, I love and accept myself no matter what's going on in my body and in my life. Because bottom line, I always have to love and accept myself no matter what's going on in my life, because that is the core and the beginning of everything. It's the core and the beginning of all healing and all health and all well-being in every aspect of our life. I mean, People that don't have chronic pain use tapping all the time just to move their life one step further. So we're going to go with the hip pain example, and I'm just going to do one round probably of really brief tapping to give you an idea of how I use this process. So the first thing you do is you tap on the karate chops. Then I want to tap on, and it varies with different people's modalities, but between 7 and 9 points on my body, and I'm going to demonstrate those for you. And while I'm tapping on those points, I usually use between 2 and 3 fingers. I don't use hard pressure, and you'll know what the right amount of pressure is for you. And I tap about 7 times. It depends on what I'm saying, how many times I'm actually tapping on each meridian point. And the first round is all about just restating the problem and being really honest with myself about what I'm feeling and what the problem is. So for example, the hip pain, I will tap on my eyebrow point, and it's just right here where your bone of your eyebrow meets and begins by your nose. And I'll tap and I'll say, the hip pain. Then I'm going to move around to the right side of my eye, staying again on the bone. And you can do either side, either eye. It does not matter. Or if you really want to, you can do both simultaneously. Sometimes and I do this with the migraine because I want to tap less times, I'll actually tap in both spots and then by both eyes. So the first point is on the eyebrow point. And I just say, the hip pain, the hip pain. And then under my eye, the hip pain, the hip pain. Under my nose, the little crease between my chin and my lip, the hip pain. And then I'm going to move to my collarbones. And sometimes I like to use both hands. Sometimes I use just like a bow tie chop method with my whole hand. Other times I just do one side. So somewhere around your collarbones. But I like to engage both my collarbones. So I just learned about this. I really like the whole hand tap for that. So again, I'm going to repeat the hip pain, the hip pain. The next point is under your armpit, either arm, about 3 to 4 inches down, you're going to tap the hip pain, the hip pain. Oh, and you know what I totally forgot? I always do this. I forget to check in with how is my hip pain feeling before I tap. I'll do that next. So under the armpit, and the last point I tap on is the top of my head, the hip pain, the hip pain. So let's go back a step because I missed a step. And after you do the karate chop, you always want to, and I guess I just do this automatically in my head is why I forgot to talk about it, but you do the karate chop, then you say, okay, on a scale of 0 to 10, what is my hip pain right now? I'll say, okay, my hip pain's at a 7. So I'll then do my tapping, the hip pain, the intense hip pain, the hip pain, the excruciating hip pain, the hip pain, the hip pain, the hip pain, the hip pain. Then I'll take a deep breath and I'll check in with myself and I'll say, okay, on a scale of 0 to 10, what is my hip pain now? Okay, since I screwed that up, it's only about a 6. So then I want to go into another round of tapping. And what I like to do next is say, I release the hip pain I'm experiencing. Okay, and I like to, okay. Yeah, I'm really struggling with this EFT today when I'm demonstrating. It's so much easier to just do it on yourself. Okay, so then the first step, and sometimes that'll just work. Sometimes I'll go through that first round of tapping, describing the pain or describing the stress or describing the situation that I want to alleviate, and that's all it takes. I'll go from, say, a 7 to a 2 or a 3, and that's good enough to go about my day. But other times, like right now, I just went from a 7 to 6 because I changed the process on myself. And I'm going to then go through another couple of rounds of tapping. And so the second round I usually personally like to go through is I want to release the pain no matter what's causing it in my body. I don't want to spend any time and energy trying to figure out exactly what it is. I just want to get rid of it. So the next round I'll do is, I release the hip pain no matter what the cause. I release the hip pain no matter what the cause. And I'll say something to that effect. And then if it's still, when I check back in, is at like a 5 or above, I'm going to do another round. No matter what it is, if I'm feeling a level 5 or above in that same spot, I'm going to do another round of tapping. And then I would probably say something about after I've described the pain, I've released it no matter what the cause, I'm going to say again something to the effect of, I'm just letting this go. I'm just going to let this pain go. And I would tap again that round saying something like that. So I'll demonstrate, since I messed up the first time, on the releasing part of this. So since my hip pain, I'm going to check in. I did the karate chop. I only have to do that once, and then I do my rounds of tapping. So I've checked in. I've checked in after that messed up round, and I'm still at a 6 in my hip. So I'm going to go and try to release whatever's causing that. I don't want to figure out what it is. I just want to get about my day. So the second round, I would say, and I might tap with my other hand this time just to kind of mix it up. But I'm right-handed, so I like to tap with my right hand. But I'll try my left just to demonstrate that it doesn't matter which hand you use. So I'm going to say, I don't know what's causing this hip pain today, but whatever the source, I'm going to just let it go. I don't know what's causing my hip pain today, but whatever the source, I'm just going to release it and let it go. Whatever is causing my hip pain today, I release and let it go. Whatever the cause of my hip pain today, I release and let it go. Whatever the cause of my hip pain today, I release and let it go. Whatever the cause of my hip pain today, I release and let it go. Whatever the cause of my hip pain today, I release and let it go. Whatever the cause of my hip pain today, I release and let it go. Deep breath. Check back in with my hip. Now my hip feels like it's down to a 3. So I don't really need to do another round. I might want to do another round and try to get it down to 0, but I'm pretty cool with the 3. If you know me, a 3 on anything is awesome. And so that gets me going and I can go about my day. So that is my weird Sharon's version of tapping, EFT tapping. It's an incredible technique. It's super duper effective, and you can use it for anything. You can use it for stress. You can use it for weight loss. You can use it for increasing your energy. You can use it for financial worries. You can use it for any emotion or feeling that you want to have less of an effect on you. You can go ahead and use the emotional freedom technique. So that is today's challenge. Today's challenge is to do this technique. Try this technique on yourself at least once, and pick something. Pain, it's super effective on pain because we can so gauge our pain, and we're so used to gauging our pain that you can really tell if you've had a shift and if it makes a difference for you, because you can feel it. And don't get discouraged if you have to do it and you have to go through and say a whole bunch of different things. And again, it doesn't matter exactly what you say and what the phrases are. Do what feels right for you, because it's all about you releasing the energy and the emotion and the charge around that. Yesterday we talked about words. I just wanted to touch base on that to make sure that you did your assignment and thought about your words. And did you find any words that you're using, habitually that are not empowering you? And if you did, what are you going to do about that? Can you find a better word or a more empowering way to describe something? Like I said, I removed depression from my vocabulary a couple of decades ago. And I might feel a little down. I might feel a little angry. I might feel a little PO'd. I might feel a little miffed. But I really don't recall ever since I took it out of my vocabulary, actually being able to get into the feeling of depression. To get into a depressed state, it's a lot of work. It's actually a lot more work than being happy, believe it or not. It's like they say it takes a lot more muscles to frown than it does to smile. It's the same thing with depression and happiness. Heavy negative feelings versus positive happy feelings. Our natural state is well-being. We really want to be happy and feel well in all areas and aspects of our life all the time. But everything around us has led us to believe, and we've been barraged with messages our entire lives, and the older we are, the more messages we've gotten, that everybody's scared and life's a struggle and everything's hard and we have to hurt and be in agony and pain all the time. That's a bunch of caca. We do not. Our natural state is well-being. And if we flow with that well-being, we're happy. Our life works. It's when we're pushing against things in our life, when we're trying to be something that we're not, when we're trying to do things that other people expect of us that don't feel right to us, that we get all these things built up in our bodies and in our lives that totally mess us up. and actually cause things like chronic illness and chronic pain and throw us off course in our life, which is the exact opposite of what any of us want. So that is our lesson for today. EFT, go out, tap away on that pain, back pain, head pain, whatever it is for you, tap away and see if it doesn't make you feel better. Now, I will admit, tapping is something that I only do when I'm at home. I might do it in my car every once in a while if nobody's around, but for the most part, you look kind of silly doing it. It's sort of like the monkey business tap, right? Or it's kind of a funny looking technique. I guarantee if you did it in public, other people would have a clue and know what you're doing. A lot of people wouldn't, and they would stare, but a lot of people have heard of EFT. I mean, I did a quick Google search or YouTube search. I didn't do Google. I did Google, but I didn't use my magnifying glass. But I did a YouTube search, and one of the tapping videos that I looked at had over 800,000 views. So over 800,000 people have seen that video, and that was just one. So it's a lot more mainstream than people would have you believe, but still, it's kind of like breastfeeding. Other people can do it in public, but I'm not going to. Other people can tap in public, but I'm not going to. That's up to each of us to personally decide what we feel comfortable with. So go out, tap today, and I want to say goodbye, but guess what? I got a bonus for you tomorrow. I don't want to quit doing this, so I will see you tomorrow. Bye.